This is the breakdown, disassembly, cleaning of the MicroJet from Casey Spearman's Knives Fast Tempest knives Jetstream. This is the MicroJet and Silverjet, all titanium. I'll go ahead and take the T8. Take out the pivot. It's captive, so it's pretty good. And it barely used any Loctite, just barely. Okay. And then the good man, Casey is, he uses T8s for everything. Which is good. Go ahead and keep all the parts together. On this one, I believe you just could take off the back pocket clip. This needs to be undone. You don't need to take the whole pocket clip off. The screw is still in. Alright, so at that point, go ahead and carefully lift off the blade. Set that aside. Take the pivot out. Bearings. Let's do a quick little clean. Put everything real quick. Very simple construction. It's wonderful. Wipe everything down with alcohol. Alright, everything's good. The bearings, I'm going to go ahead and too much. I'm going to clean the bearings. Those bad boys spinning freely. The other one. That's nice and clean. Alright, so we got full clean knife. And it's time for this one. I really like this knife. It's pretty good. And sometimes what I like to do with, if I've used thread locker, I'll go ahead and put my fingernail as much as I can with the alcohol and kind of spin it in my hand as I'm unscrewing it to get rid of that previous Loctite. And then the edge here, if there's any to the side, you could kind of get in the edge there, so that way it seats all the way down and you don't have any issues putting it back together, not seating all the way. Little things can make big problems. So what I'll do is take my mini Boston Labrador. Still have to show you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and just scrape off the remaining Loctite at the end, at the very bottom. That kind of keep it from, just kind of keep it clean. And if you crank it, it'll work, but this is just a good way to keep threads fresh, knife good and clean. This shows you that you care about what you purchase, and the value of $1 for young. So take care of what you work hard for, and it'll treat you right and last as long as you are treated as it should be, and respected as a tool. Blah blah blah. Anyway, let me go ahead and take my Labrador, mini Labrador. This is my wife's knife. Yeah, this fits her perfect. Okay, that's the mini Labrador. Let's go ahead and put this thing back together. So now let's grab this pivot. I'm not gonna flip the washers because it already has a track in it, and I like the track that it's on. I don't need to. I'm not re-inputting skips into this one. Just gonna be using standards. So I created a track with the standards. So let's go ahead and make sure that's flush. Is this captive? This is captive, right, Casey? Okay. Alright. Apologies. Okay. Alright, so we'll go ahead and lubricate with KPL original. Just put a drop right on your finger. I will go ahead, and since we do have the cutouts in the blade, I'm going to have the open end toward the cutout in the blade, and then the closed end will be against the washer. So just like so. If you want, you could put some, I don't like to use too much KPL because then it gets all over the rock face, and you gotta keep putting oil and make sure you don't get the lock stick or anything like that. So it's best to just put heavy in the detent ball I'm about to do, or in detent hole, and then the detent ball, you can go ahead and throw some on. That would make it smooth. Alright, so put some more lube on this end, and again the open end of the ceramic ball bearings running pretty smooth in my hand. Still feel things dropping, but that's good. So just continue to make it nice and lubricate. And then on this part, you can go ahead and drop a dot, just a dot. Like for real, like if you use too much, it'll work in reverse. Gunk up, especially if you're using heavy on your bearings. Do not use heavy on your bearings. It's much thicker and it'll clog up your action. You want to use 10 mil original, and then 75 weight heavy original. You'll be looking at 10 mil. That's for bearings. The heavy is for the detent hole and ball. Alright, so we will go ahead, and when you're doing this, you know, keep that, there's alcohol pads near you so you can wipe your hands off. Clean the lock face, both sides. You could lubricate this other side if you still have some lubricant on your fingers. But at this point, I go ahead and grab my KPL Heavy. I just fill the hole up, that's all. And then it'll over travel, so you can actually guide this heavy fluid down the tang of the blade where the track is already made. See, there's just a whole ton of it. You don't need that much. So what I'll do is I'll take my finger and wipe the rest off. Detent hole is still full. It's actually detent bowl. So that way detent bowl hole is full. The track has heavy on it. It's not on the bearings have regular. And then once this, I could put heavy on right now, but sometimes this could lead to it hitting the lock face. But for purposes, rather than trying to show you by pushing the lock bar back or the liner lock back, I'll just show you now. This is what you would do. Just put a little dab of heavy right on the ball, just enough to cover it. That is actually, you could use less than that. Actually, I'm going to just gonna kind of spread it away from that interface, that lock interface. Still gonna have to wipe it down with alcohol and stuff like that. The less it gets, well, the less you could train yourself to try to keep those areas free. You could actually take your time, not worrying if you're going to be able to get it back. I just rubbed off all the, I don't even think I used it. Let's go over this real quick. Oh, there's the ball. Anyway, I accidentally wiped it all off. But there we go. Alright. So we're ready. Alright, so got the bearings in right, the tracks are on, everything's clean, alcoholed up. The lanyard pin is on this side, just in case you're wondering. I didn't forget it. So we will go ahead and start with the back. Just kind of get directly above, lay it down, and then it just sort of kind of falls in place as you apply pressure. And then you'll see that once you pick it up very carefully, that blade is out. There's no gaps. If you kind of heard it, you could hear that snap to where it seats all the way down. There it is. So what we have here, once we put everything in, we are not centered right now because we have a body screw to put in and to tighten down the long screw to go all the way through. Then the pivot will go ahead and make this straight. But it's a straightforward, very simple tear down. Very, very common, but these guys are knife guys, so they make it as easy as possible to take apart, especially for the field. Like, I mean, they're using all T8s. I mean, I don't really think it takes a knife guy to realize that, like, hey, one bit would be great for one knife, you know. But I'm a fan of big hardware as well. I like the bigger the hardware, the better. I think it looks good. No T6s, those are just it's useless, really. Just like I said before, just every company using T6 body screws should just melt them all down and turn them into T8s. You know you could do it, it's easy. So you want to take that. I think it's all titanium hardware too, so you want to be careful of slipping off of that. That was my negligence. Didn't scratch it, thank God, but I wasn't directly in the middle. I could have stripped that, could have scratched. Amount that these go for, not that they're crazy amount, but it's hard-earned money. It's money period that you work for. Looks like something there. However, that, my friends, is what you call dead nuts centered. Alright. That's good. Too tight. Might be a little too tight. Let me run back this way. I like them, mind you, all like that. Still not like a slick joint. So that's perfect. And so we have dead nuts, still dead nuts, perfect. Reverse flick works great. Thumb roll works great, and flipper tab works great. The disengage works good, falls down to the thumb, one shake down, that's great. Let it go, just a little encouragement. That's how I like it. But don't you threat and forget about this. Screw here. Let's go ahead and snug this last one in. Doesn't make a difference on centering or anything like that. Just you don't want to forget. So what we'll do, go all the way around, just snug everything up. Go. That is the MicroJet Silverjet from the jet stream version of Casey Sperlin's Tempest knives. Very easy, very, very good knife. Okay. This is Spider G. Thank you. If you can, please give me a like, comment, subscribe, all those good things, and I will see you guys on the next one. Okay, take care.